see him here. But here's the one thing. I learned a number of things. First of all, he could take a punch. Muhammad Ali could take a punch. He can take a punch. Because you weren't going to go down no matter how. That was a hell of a hard punch. He was a strong guy. But you know what? You've got yourself a great lawyer. I know your lawyer. She is a great lawyer. Just tell her to do me a favor. Sue him, but he's probably got nothing. But sue him forever. But sue the college, the university. And maybe sue the state. Ladies and gentlemen, he took a hard punch in the face.
I don't know who this guy is, but evidently there's a lawsuit over the university and the school, and maybe the state, on allowing freedom of speech from a conservative group. And he must be in that group, but he must be in a legal battle over what they will or will not allow.
For all of us. Remember that. He took a punch for all of us. And we can never allow that to happen. And here is, in closing with Hayden, here's the good news. He is going to be a very wealthy young man. That's okay. Go get him, Hayden. Today I'm proud to announce that I will be very soon signing an executive order requiring colleges and universities to support free speech if they want federal research.
Wow, so now he's going to sign a presidential order. If colleges want federal funding, they have to support free speech on both sides. They don't? Oh. This guy is working on so many areas, it's amazing.
If they want our dollars, and we give it to them by the billions, they've got to allow people like Hayden and many other great young people and old people to speak. Free speech. And if they don't, it will be very costly. That'll be signed very soon. Every day we're restoring common sense and the timeless values that unite us all. We believe in the Constitution and the rule of law. We believe in the First Amendment right. And we believe in religious liberty. And we believe strongly in the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms. Which is under siege, folks. They have a lot of plans. It's under siege. Be careful. But I'll protect you. I promise you that. I'll protect you. Because it all has to come through my office. And we hopefully are going to be here for 6 more years, so you're in good shape. We believe in the American dream, not in the socialist nightmare. And we believe in the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." Every day my presidency will defend American families. We will defend America's workers, our great, great cherished workers that now we're taking care of. They're not losing their jobs. We're creating those jobs. We're not letting those companies destroy their lives anymore. We will defend the American way of life, and we will always defend America's borders, because without borders, as I've said many times before, we don't have a country. The lawless chaos on our southern border provides a lucrative cash flow to some of the most dangerous criminal organizations on the planet. Deadly cartels constantly, daily, hourly violate our borders to flood our cities with drugs that kill thousands and thousands of our citizens violently. What are these people talking about when they talk about the border? Keep it open. Keep what open? Have you been there? Have you seen? I just got back. I've been there many times. I see what's happening. I don't like it. But I have to tell you, our Border Patrol, our ICE agents, our law enforcement, the job they do, and they don't have the backup of a wall in many cases. The job they do is incredible. These ruthless cartels terrorize innocent communities on both sides of the border and spread instability throughout our hemisphere. When I was there 2 weeks ago, 26 people were killed, very close to where I was, on the Rio Grande. Sounds nice, right? The Rio Grande. Rough stuff. 26 people were killed, and they were buried right near where I was standing. And the paper doesn't write about it, the news doesn't write about it. In the last 2 years alone, ICE officers made 266,000 arrests. Think of what that means. Think of that. Arrests. I'm not talking about people coming in. I'm talking, they went out and arrested 266,000 people who have criminal records, and in some cases for murder. Who the hell wants to do that? Thank God they're doing it, because I don't want to do it. It's dangerous, it's hard, but they love our country. And they're tough people, but they love our country. Including those charged or convicted of approximately 100,000 assaults, 30,000 sex crimes, 25,000 burglaries, 4,000 kidnappings, and 4,000 violent murders. These are people that ICE is going in and getting, and either putting in jail or ideally bringing them back to other countries and letting them put in jail, because we don't want them. We don't want to have to pay for them for 50 years. You want them to pay a price, but we don't want to have to pay for them for 50 years. And all the nonsense you hear about the people that come in illegally are far better than the people we have. It's not true, folks, okay? It's false. It's false propaganda. Right? One recent study from FAIR, F-A-I-R, found that illegal aliens are incarcerated at 3 times the rate of legal residents. Those are the numbers. And if you look at prison population in federal prisons, these federal prisons the number is staggering. The number of illegals, far, far, far greater than any proportion of our population. But you don't hear that. You hear like these people are the greatest people in the world. Just ask the angel moms, how good are they? Those great angel moms who are treated so badly. So badly. Incredible people. But the simple reality is that every crime committed by an illegal immigrant is a crime that should never have happened in the first place. The border crisis is also a heartbreaking humanitarian tragedy. Vicious coyotes, smugglers, and human traffickers prey upon innocent women and children. 1 in 3 women is sexually assaulted on the dangerous journey north. When I ran for president, my first speech, I mentioned the word rape. The press went after me. I couldn't believe it. I said, will it be like this always? The answer was yes. It even got worse. From day one, I mentioned the word rape. If you look at that speech, that was so innocent compared to what's really happening. That was a very innocent speech compared to the real facts. Illegal immigration is not compassionate. It's inhumane, unjust, and cruel. The media fights me on this, but I say it. Mothers who love their daughters, when the daughters are getting ready to make that 2,000-mile trek up through Mexico, and frankly, I wish Mexico would stop them at their northern border. I wish Mexico would stop them. Because, you know, they have a border. They call it their southern border. It's 2,000 miles down from our southern border. I wish Mexico would stop them. But they have their own difficulties, frankly. I understand that. We're working along well with them. And they are doing a lot of things to help us with asylum and other elements of what we're doing. But mothers who love their daughters give them massive amounts of birth control pills because they know their daughters are going to be raped on the way up to our southern border. Think of that. True story. Told to me by the Border Patrol. So true and so sad. Think of how evil that is. Think of how bad it is. Those caravans. You look at those caravans, and some are phenomenal people. But in those caravans, you have stone-cold killers. You had the interview done by some innocent person who I think is actually back there now. And what is it that you want asylum for? Why are you coming to America? Murder. She goes, what? Murder. I mean, what's going on is incredible. And when those caravans are formed, do you think those countries that we used to give a lot of money to, I've cut it way back. I've cut it way back. Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador. Do you think they're giving us, as we say, their best and their finest? Oh, let's send our best people up to America. Let's have our best people go in the caravan so we can give America our greatest people. No, 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 no. They give us some very bad people. People with big, long crime records. People with tremendous violence in their past. Murderers, killers, drug dealers, human traffickers. They want to keep their good people because they're smart. It's so sad to see how stupid we've been. Border Patrol recently reported apprehending 7,000 unlawful migrants in a single week on just one part of the Texas border a couple of weeks ago. Our immigration system is stretched far beyond the breaking point. To confront this national security crisis, last month I declared a national emergency. A national emergency. And when I see these people, and they're good people, some senators, most, I tell you, the House has been fantastic. The House, the backing we've had from the House has really been, I'm talking about in the last short period of time. There's a lot of spirit in the House. And I think in the Senate, too, but we're going to have to see because we have a vote coming up. And a lot of people talk about precedent. Precedent. That if we do this, the Democrats will use national emergency powers for something that we don't want. They're going to do that anyway, folks. The best way to stop that is to make sure that I win the election. That's the best way to stop that. They're going to do it anyway. They'll do it anyway. I watch some good people, they're friends of mine. We're very concerned with setting precedent. That's precedent, not president. Precedent. We're very concerned about setting precedent. I'm very concerned with having murderers and drug traffickers and drugs and drug cartels pouring into our country. That's what I'm concerned about. And the Democrats, they're going to do whatever they do if they get into power, and it won't have a damn thing to do with whether or not we approve our national emergency. Because let me tell you, they don't like it when I say it, but we are being invaded. We're being invaded by drugs, by people, by criminals, and we have to stop it. And we want people to come in, as I said before, but they have to come in legally and with merit. Previous presidents have used their national emergency power to promote democratic elections in Belarus, to ensure political stability in Burundi, and to defend the sovereignty of Lebanon. And you know what? That's okay. Lebanon, it's good. Fine. Use it. But we need it right here in our country. We have to use it for our country. Many emergency declarations have been used to protect people in faraway nations and distant lands. Now we are protecting, finally, our people, you, our people. And we are proudly standing with the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol and law enforcement. Illegal immigration is also deeply unfair to American workers and taxpayers, including millions and millions of hardworking legal immigrants. If you care about helping immigrants and care about their success, if you care about reducing poverty and raising living standards, then you must support a safe, strong, and very, very secure border. We need an immigration policy that helps all Americans thrive, flourish, prosper. We need an immigration policy that's going to be great for our corporations and our great companies. We need an immigration policy where people coming into our country can love our country and love our fellow citizens. And this includes shutting down sanctuary cities. And we want to end catch and release. We catch them, we realize they're a criminal, and we have to release them. Think of this. They come onto our land, they put 1 foot on our land. We now have to take them through a massive court trial. Who does this? Other countries say, get the hell out of here. We have to take them through court. So we catch them. We talk to them. If they're criminals or if they're not, we release them. We say, come back for a hearing in front of a judge. You know how many judges you need to do this? We have 900,000 people backlogged. That's the good news. The bad news, nobody shows up. 3% of the people come back for a trial. It's insane. Not my fault. I inherited this mess, but we're fixing it. We have to end chain migration, and we have to cancel the visa lottery. Every American, no matter where they're born, will benefit from the creation of a lawful immigration system. It is such, you talk about an emergency. Our immigration system is so broken, folks. It's so broken. It's so sad to see. It's incompetent. It's laughed at all over the world. We have people pouring in from not just the southern border in Mexico, from China. They have a baby on our land. The baby becomes a citizen. Welcome to the United States for hopefully 90 years. Okay? And then the parents come in with the baby because the baby's a citizen. This is like crazy. They used to call it anchor babies, but they don't use that term anymore because it doesn't sound nice. Our laws are so crazy, but one by one, we're finding ways. You know, they call them loopholes. A lot of our laws, loopholes. Well, I'm finding loopholes to get around the loophole, okay? Because our Congress can't act. They can't act. They just can't act. The Democrats in Congress don't want to touch any of it. Visa lottery. That's where they put in the names. They put it in a lottery. And you pick, oh, here's a wonderful person, wonderful. You know, he killed 4 people. Here's another wonderful. And then they get in and we say, gee, that person just came into our country. He just robbed a store and killed somebody. How is that possible? Because they send us the people they don't want. Biggest form of subsidy we give to other nations. Immigration systems that prioritize the admission of those who can support themselves financially and contribute. We want people that can help themselves, that can support themselves. We have people coming in. We support them from the day they come in till the day they die. We can't do that as a country. We can't afford to do that as a country. Sadly, on immigration and so many other issues, Democrat lawmakers have totally abandoned the American mainstream. But that's going to be good for us in 2020. They're embracing open borders, socialism, and extreme late-term abortion. Weeks ago, lawmakers in New York cheered as they passed legislation to allow babies to be ripped from the womb of their mother, right up to the very moment of death. Then, in an act and a statement, the likes of which I don't think I've ever heard, in Virginia, the governor, a Democrat, stated that he would allow babies to be born outside. He would wrap them. He would take care of them. And then he'll talk to the mother and the father as to what to be done. And if they didn't want the child, who is now outside of the womb, long outside of the womb, they will execute the baby after birth. They will execute the baby after birth. And that's one many people have never even heard of or thought about. This is a radical agenda by the Democrats. And when you put something up, as was just put up before the Senate, everybody on the Democrat side votes for it. By the way, I have to say one thing. They're lousy politicians, and they have lousy policy. They have policy I could never sell if I wanted to. But, big but, they always stick together. And the Republicans don't. Remember that. Remember that. They always stick together. They vote in blocks. They have 47. We had a tremendous victory. We were given no credit. I can't go and campaign for all of the people in the House. Too many. And guys like Meadows wins by so many points, he doesn't need any help. He doesn't need. I said, Mark, you need any help? No, I'm okay. He'll win by 30, 35. They're okay. These guys, you know the funny thing? The ones that love Trump, the ones that are really the Trumpers, like Meadows, Jordan, Gates, so many of them. I don't want to, I get myself, I could just name them so many. They're the ones that win without, I mean, it's like they don't even have an election. It's the ones that sort of, they're a little shy about embracing what we're all about. They get clobbered. They get clobbered. Take a look. Those are the ones that get clobbered. But the good news is they're all starting to find that out. Just this week, Senate Democrats opposed legislation to prevent the killing of newborn infant children who survive abortions. Virtually every Democrat voted against protecting these precious babies. Everyone, they vote in groups. And we did have that great victory. We went for 51, and 2 that we didn't like got out. They said they retired. They didn't retire. They were retired. They said these two senators have decided to retire. No. They retired because they had like very little support. Like how about 5% and 8%? No, we did great. We had 53. We picked up in the Senate. They were going to win the Senate, remember? And I'll tell you, folks, I worked hard. I did 32 big, fat rallies. And those rallies brought us to a tremendous Senate victory so that we can continue onward with our judges and our approvals. And the fake news back there, they love to say Donald Trump suffered a big defeat. First of all, we won the Senate, which frankly, judges never, hate to say it, in all due respect. For us, the Senate, far more important. I really worked hard. But think of it. We won the Senate, and we had this tremendous victory. We get no credit at all. Wait till you see what happens. They say Donald Trump suffered a humiliating defeat. I said I wasn't running. And one of the commentators, and I appreciate it, on one of the shows where they were saying how I suffered a defeat, this commentator said, excuse me, he didn't run. Not all our candidates were exactly great, let's face it. You can only do so much. But wait till you see what's happening when I do run. And what they don't say is, Governor of Ohio, great guy, Mike. Mike was down 6, he won by 7 with 1 day, right? He was down by 6, 1 day into the election. I went out, I campaigned, worked hard, made a speech. Jim Jordan was there. Everybody was there. It was a fantastic crowd like this, and all the people in the other ballrooms that are waiting for us. And he ended up winning. He was down by 6. He won by 7. 1 day. Then we have Georgia, the governor of Georgia. Great guy. Where's Georgia? Great guy. He was losing in the primary by 10. I got a call from David Perdue and Sonny Perdue, 2 great guys. Could you endorse him? I said, let me check. And I checked him. He was a Trumper before Trump was a Trumper. And I said, I love this guy. He's down by 10. He won by 40. Do you believe that? I endorsed him, Mark. He won by 40. Then he had a tough race against the new star of the Democrat Party. Not Democratic. It's Democrat. We have to do that. It sounds prettier when we use Democratic. I hate to say in the speech the Democrat Party because it doesn't sound good. But that's all the more reason I use it, because it doesn't. They should change it because it sounds much better. Rhetorically, it's much better. Much better. But then he had an election against their star, who followed me after the State of the Union address. I didn't think she was great, but she's their star. And who showed up? Oprah Winfrey, Michelle Obama, and President Obama. And they campaigned for her, and they worked so hard. And all our man had was Trump. And we kicked their ass. True. We had a rally at the airport where 55,000 people showed up to the airport. It was one hangar. They had 3 other hangars that were full. They went so far back. The problem was they gave the press, like these guys, they gave the press too good a location because the people behind them couldn't see properly. I was so angry. But we had 55,000 people show up. I said, you're going to win the election. You won the election. You won it fairly easily against their star. And now David Perdue is going to win for senator in 2020. And then we had Florida and many others. And we have a candidate, Ron DeSantis, a friend. A friend of many of us in this room, but nobody knew he was running. He was running against in the primary somebody that was easily going to win. He was scheduled to be the next governor of Florida. But Ron's been great to me on the witch hunt. He's been a defender of me against these phony charges of Russia. Russia, 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 Russia. My wife said, "You never spoke to anybody from Russia, darling." I said, "That's right." But Ron DeSantis, I like people that defend me. You know, when people defend me, I defend them. So he came. That's why I like Mark. That's why I like Mark Levin. And I'm not sure a lot of people like him. He's tough as hell. But I like him. I love him. But then we have Florida. So Ron DeSantis is at 3. 3! He calls up, "Sir, could I have your endorsement?" I said, "Ron, you're at 3. Your opponent is, I guess, agriculture commissioner, has $22 million in the bank. His poll numbers are very good. He's up in the 20s or 30s. I said, "Ron, don't make me do this, Ron." "Sir, I can win." "All right, Ron, here we go." Because I know if he loses, which almost never happens when I endorse somebody, almost never. Only one time, and that was because it was done in the middle of the day of the election. Nobody knew I did it. They got home, they said, "I didn't know Trump endorsed him." But we rarely lose. But I said, "Ron, don't do it." I said, "All right, Ron, I'll do it." He went from 3 to 60. To 60. And then he ran against a guy who had unbelievable support. He had every celebrity going to Florida. He had money all over the place. And Ron was in there pitching, and I was in there pitching with him. And we now have a great governor in the state of Florida. And I could mention many others, other governors, many other states, but I'm not going to bore you with it. And I really think that it's incredible what we did in the midterms. I think it's incredible. Governor of Florida, governor of Ohio. Remember, you can't win unless you win the state of Ohio. We got the governor of Ohio, and he's great. Mike, we love you, Mike. As we defend American values at home, we are also defending American security abroad. We have secured all sorts of funding, all sorts of record everything, and we will never forget our military. We will never forget our veterans. We are taking care of our veterans like they've never been taken care of before. We just got them choice, so now they can go see a doctor. Now they can go and see a doctor instead of waiting online for weeks and weeks and weeks. And we got them accountability. You couldn't fire anybody in the VA. You had sadists. You had people that took advantage of our veterans. They've hit them. They were sadists. They were sick people. You couldn't fire them. You had thieves that were stealing, openly stealing. You couldn't fire them. I got a bill passed. VA accountability. Now you look at the guy, you say, "Get the hell out of here. You're fired. Get out." Nobody thought we could get it. For 40 years, they tried to get it. For 40 years, they tried to get it. They couldn't get it. And VA choice, they thought for many, many decades, they've been trying to get VA choice. You could get it. Now, instead of waiting online for 2 days, 9 days, 3 weeks, people were dying. People that weren't very sick would be dead by the time they saw a doctor 6 weeks later. Now, these great veterans, if there's a big wait, they go outside, they go to a local doctor, we pay the bills, they get better, everybody's happy, and we actually save a lot of money, if you can believe it. And I got that approved after 44 years of being unable to get it approved. For our veterans, we love our veterans. And just in finishing up, as you know, I just returned from Vietnam, where I had very productive meetings with Chairman Kim Jong-un. Very productive. We get along. We've developed a good relationship, very good, and made great historic progress. And I do get a kick out of all these people in previous administrations. Donald Trump, should not, under any circumstances, be doing this or that. You know, they tell me how to negotiate. These guys died. One administration gave billions of dollars to him and got nothing. And we haven't given him anything yet. I look forward to maybe doing something at some point. But I know one thing, I'm going to get other countries to give. Maybe not us, but I'm going to get other countries to give. And if it all works out, But I had to walk. Because every once in a while you have to walk. Because the deal wasn't a deal that was acceptable to me. I don't like these deals that politicians make. They make a deal just for the sake of doing it. I don't want to do that. I want to make a deal that either works or let's not make it. But the one thing we have done is we have no testing, no missiles going up, no rockets going up, no nuclear testing. We got our great people back. We got our great, great people. And that includes our beautiful, beautiful Otto. Otto Warmbier, whose parents I've gotten to know, who's incredible. And I'm in such a horrible position because in one way, I have to negotiate. In the other way, I love Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier, and I love Otto. And it's a very, very delicate balance. He was a special young man, and to see what happened was so bad, And a lot of what I do with respect to North Korea and any success that we hopefully have, and we've had a lot, we're given no credit. They don't remember that in the last days of the Obama administration, rockets were flying all over the place. Nuclear testing was going on. Mountains were these are big mountains, they were being shoved over 3-4 inches. People thought it was massive earthquakes, then they found out, no, that was nuclear weapons, nuclear testing. So much. We're getting the remains back of a lot of our soldiers from many, many years ago. Mike Pence was in Hawaii. It was one of the most beautiful ceremonies. We made a lot of progress, and we'll continue to make progress. And I really think what we're doing there is very important. But we actually had a walk, but I think we had a very good meeting. And in fact, when I came home, they put out a statement that actually they were willing to do much less on the sanction front. But you see, that's not what happened there. So already I think we're negotiating. And I'll tell you this, North Korea has an incredible, brilliant economic future if they make a deal. But they don't have any economic future if they have nuclear weapons. It's really a bad thing for them. So we'll see how it all goes. But I think it's going well. I think we learned a lot over the last couple of days. And again, the relationship seems to be very, very strong. And that's an important thing, especially when we're dealing with this kind of a situation. For years you watched as your leaders apologized for America. You saw that? Would you like to apologize? No, I'm not apologizing. Now you have a president who is standing up for America. After decades of building up foreign nations, we are finally building up our nation, and we are doing it with American hands, American grit, and with beautiful, beautiful American steel. We are fighting to ensure that every young American inherits the same blessings and the same boundless opportunity that our ancestors fought to secure with all of their heart, might, and soul. Now more than ever, we need the proud men and women of Cpac. And I want to thank everybody here because it is incredible. Your organization is incredible. Matt and Mercedes, incredible. You're energized. You mobilized, and you're engaged. We need your voice. We need your patriotism. We need your commitment. We need your incredible spirit. On the 4th of July, we are having in Washington, D.C., a great tribute to America. I hope you can all come. 4th of July, keep it open. We want to bring millions of people into the city. And we want people to come who love our country. Those are the people we want. the 4th of July. A salute to America. Now is the time to embrace the promise of our history. Now is the time to defend our American legacy. And now is the time to seize our glorious destiny. And by the way, I'm watching those doors. Not one person's left, and I've been up here a long time. I said, Matt, is that okay? He said, I love it. Don't leave. But not one person. So if you hear tomorrow when they read, people left. Nobody left early. There hasn't been one person that's left. But when you read it, you just say, fake news. This magnificent nation will always be the home of those who cherish life, who love liberty, and who defend the sacred rights given to us by Almighty God. Together we are one people, one family, and one nation, forever united behind one great American flag. Thank you to everybody in this room and to all of the other rooms all over the campus and all over the country. We're hooked in all over the country. Thank you very much. I want to thank Cpac. What a job they've done. What a job Matt Schlapp and his family have done in such a short period of time in bringing this to a level like it's never been before. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
All right, there we are.
And now
41 minutes.
Folks, we are so
they had
excited for
4 hours
what an
of this
epic,
meeting,
speech
and
that
he
was.
did 40 minutes.
Easily the longest speech of his presidency and possibly even his political career. Going over 2 hours, he was speaking for about 2 hours and 3 minutes to the crowd here at Cpac at the Gaylord Hotel. It is just, it was an amazing